Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll try to understand software development lifecycle, SLDC, which we have read a lot about in our books, but in practical life, how it is different, and we'll talk about that. So, whenever you are creating a software or transforming any idea into any application, be it a mobile application, uh, web application, or any other type of application, then what are the different life cycle which we have to go through in order to create a full-fledged application. So we'll talk about that here in detail. So in the first phase, which is planning phase, we just try to understand uh, the goal and the vision of the application, whatever we are creating. So we define the vision, we clearly state what's the purpose of creating this application, what are business goals, and who would be our users, and all that. We try to put as much information into this vision document, so to speak, we say, in this. And then once we have the vision document, the next step is to create user personas. So user personas is like whatever users you have mentioned in your vision document, or whatever audience you have mentioned, you need to create personas for each of them. End users could be different type of users, so you need to create stories around all those people, that how would they experience your application. And that's what we call as user persona document, and we create that document in which we create a whole end-to-end experience of an user. Basically, it's a persona of the user, uh, their expectation with the application, and all that. So once we create user persona and we have the vision document, then the next step is to create stories around the user personas which we have, and we need to detail out in text form how the user would experience the application, what would uh, the user do in different situation, how would the user navigate the application, all of that. So we put all those things in the user stories and user flow document. So it's just one document where we put all those things, and it's very important for creating the wireframes, which are kind of a visual representation of our user stories. So in the fourth step, we do create a sort of sketches, layouts, and wireframes in order to better understand the application of like better representation of the user stories, basically. So once we complete this planning phase, that was the planning phase. The next phase is requirement analysis phase, where we analyze all the requirements which we have gathered and put them into an SRS document, which is software requirement specification document. And it is one of the crucial step, and it's a kind of manual for development. So whatever you put in ESRS is being followed throughout your application processes, and your developer use that SRS to create applications. So here we put functional requirements. What are the mandatory requirements in your application? We put all that here, and then non-functional requirements, where we put performance, security, scalability, and all those things, which are not functional, like they are not mandatory. And database design, which is again one part, which is also very important. And then API specification document. So in this document, basically we specify all the endpoints uh, of our API which we are building. So what would be fetching and what would be the endpoints. We put down all those things in these documents. Now, once you have all these documents, you have for the vision document, all that, the planning phase, then the requirement analysis phase, you got the SRS, the database design as API specification document, all of them. The next step is to design the UI. Now it's time to create a full-fledged uh, visual representation of your application. So the front-end designers would do this work and they would create uh, the wireframes, be it in Figma or whatever application you're using. So you create the visual representation on the wireframes for that according to your SRS. Now, once we have this planning phase complete, the next phase is design phase, where we lay out the technical foundation for our application, where we decide the system architecture and we lay out the database design, database schema. We finalize all those tables and all those things. We finalize our API architecture, that what sort of API we would use, what would be the architecture of the API. Will it be the client server architecture? Will it be the microservice architecture or whatever? And then we have UI design, which we just talk about that we create the wireframes and the designs and all the things we put into this design. We put into a visual representation in this phase. And the next one is a development phase, where we just sit down and start coding. So we use the SRS, the API specification document, architecture document, and all the design documents, and start coding. This is the third phase, where we are just bringing the application to life. And here we set up the environment, implement database, build backend feature, and all those things. Now, once our application has been created, and the next phase is testing phase, which basically we test all the functional, non-functional requirements, whether we have built the application according to the SRS which we had created, or according to the vision which we were building the application. So based on that, we do the testing and ensure the quality of the system which we are creating. And here we have different kind of testings which we go through one by one. For example, we have functional testing, where we verify every feature works as described in the SRS. We run usability testing, we run performance testing, security testing, bug tracking and fixing. We do all those things in testing phase. So once our testing phase is complete, the next phase is deployment phase, where the application is finally ready and we need to make it available to our users. So that's when we deploy the application, and that's called deployment phase, and where we just prepare the production environment, whether you are deploying it to the cloud or any other services, and we build our packages here, or create the build and then deploy the application. And once our application is being deployed, the next phase is maintenance, where we monitor the application, refactor and optimize our code, fix bugs, improve features, release update, and we do all those things. And this whole life cycle repeat again and again, and this goes on and on. This is what we call as the software development life cycle. And you can see we have planning phase and design phase and development phase and testing, deployment, and maintenance. We have just these 6 phases, or if we add requirement and analysis phase here, then it will be 7. So that's a simple overview of how software development lifecycle really look like in real projects. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one. Till then, keep learning and keep improving. Thank you.